loud and clear. By the way, everybody, we have here Miss Jacine Baker, Mrs. Jacine Marshall Baker out there in Jamaica. And it's a pleasure to have her come on and share with us, man. I tell you, it's always good to, again, here at Jamins Radio, we inform, educate, and entertain here in Jamins Radio. So we just want to address the issue of drug abuse out there in Jamaica. Now, Mrs. Baker here, Miss Jacine here, she's a drug abuse officer out there in Jamaica, and she works with the National Council on Drug Abuse for the parish of Manchester. We know that Jamaica is divided into 14 parishes. Manchester is right there in the central portion of Jamaica. And so she actually, you know, operates in that area there. So we just wanted to bring her on a little bit just to tell us about what's going on out there in Jamaica. How are you doing this afternoon here, Miss Jacine?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you doing? I'm
doing pretty good. It's a pleasure to have you come on, you know, to talk to us a little bit about what's going on out there in Jamaica. Let's just jump right into it, though. What's the law that deals with Ganja in Jamaica? What is this law that deals with Ganja in Jamaica right now? What is it like now? Can you explain the law a little bit to us out in Jamaica?
Yes. Thank you so much. The law that deals with drugs in Jamaica is referred to as the Dangerous Drug Act of 1948. This is the law which addresses all illegal substances in Jamaica. The law was amended in 2015.
Okay, so that's the current law that's in effect right now, this law, right? The 2015?
Yes, it is.
Okay. No, so what are the general changes to the law in 2015 now in terms of decriminalization? You know, what's the general changes in the law?
Yes, there have been some changes in the law, yes. Generally, the changes to the law covers how possession of under 2 ounces of ganja is treated or use of ganja by Rastafarians.
Mm-hmm. So
it deals with the importation of ganja. Yes, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
It also deals with the importation of ganja for research and cultivation of the said substance.
Okay, so you mentioned 2 ounces. That's significant, right? Because what happens if a person found with, say, under 2 ounces of marijuana? I mean, will they go to jail? Do they lock them up and throw away the key or something? How does that work?
No. That is why this amendment is so crucial, and it is that everybody needs to know. If you found in Jamaica with 2 ounces or less of ganja, you do not attract a criminal offense. No longer are you locked up and the key thrown away. It's a ticketed store, but it's not a criminal offense. So 2 ounces or less, you can still apply for your passport and your visa, and you can still work, but that's the beauty of the amendment.
Okay, I see. The beauty of the amendment is that because back in the days, right, I mean, they would always, you know, it doesn't matter the amount, as long as they found you with ganja, you're in trouble, right?
Definitely so.
Okay, how about...
Definitely.
Okay, how about over 2 ounces? What will happen if, you know, say I go out there to Jamaica and I have, say, 5 ounces of ganja on me? I mean, what does the law do to me? What will happen to me if they found me, if the cops found me with, say, 5 ounces or 10 ounces or a pound of ganja on me? What happens to me?
Oh, my Lord. Then the professor will be arrested and charged.
Oh, yeah, that's not a
the professor would have now committed a criminal offense.
Oh, gee. That goes against my record, right? Because now, what happened? Can I apply for a passport now without that showing up on my record? I mean...
No, it will be shown. It will be shown. It will be shown, yes. Because now it's a criminal offense.
Okay, so, like, if I get caught with ganja, let's say a pound of ganja, and the police come and lock me up and all that, I would have to go through the court system, the normal court system, and maybe face fine and penalty and jail time for that?
Definitely so. Yes, definitely so. You'll have to go to the penal system, whatever they are, that goes along with that. Yes, you will be tried. You will be charged, of course, yes.
Okay. So hold on now. So is ganja now illegal in Jamaica, or it all depends on the amount that you have? Is it illegal in Jamaica? Ganja?
Ganja is still illegal in Jamaica. It is still illegal in Jamaica. It's just that this amendment has been done, you know, because it's here, and we're just trying to work with people so people can, one, take charge of their health, really, and two, understand that we must take responsibility for our actions. But ganja is still an illegal substance here, even though the law makes particular provisions.
Okay, I see. By the way, everybody, we're talking to Miss Jacine Marshall-Baker. She's a drug abuse counselor officer out there in Jamaica. She works for the National Council of Drug Abuse there, and she represents the parish of Manchester. So it's a pleasure to have her on here on Jammin's Radio with the professor here in our Sunday conversation. Now, Miss Jacine, suppose what happens now if I say get a ticket, right, and for possession, and I don't pay that ticket? What will happen to me?
Oh, you will have to attend the petty sessions court. I mean, if you got a ticket, you didn't pay, just like your seatbelt and you didn't pay.
Oh, okay.
Yes, okay. Warrant will be out for you, right? And yes, you will have to pay. You will definitely have to pay. Then you may have to make sure that you do some amount of work, to say, oh, I'm really sorry here, or for you to understand that this is serious business, so you may have to do some community service, or you may just find that your fine may get a little bit larger. You never can tell what the consequences may be. But yes, you will have to go to court, yes.
Oh, gee, I tell you, man. Well, hey, the professor is learning a lot about ganja out there in Jamaica, but I tell you, man, I tell you. But what does the law say about people who smoke it? Because, yes, I possess it, but suppose I smoke it now. What does the law say where people, can smoke? Can I smoke ganja anywhere? Can I go to the beach and just pull out a spliff and just smoke? Or can I go to, the local supermarket uptown, Knutsford Boulevard, and just pull out a joint and start smoke it? I mean, can I do that and get away with that out there in Jamaica?
No, it should not happen. No, it is against the law to smoke in public spaces. It is against the law. I know sometimes person may say, oh, please, I tried this, but sometimes, you get away, just like, again, you're driving on the highway, you don't have your seatbelt on, but the minute you're seen, you are stopped and you're going to be charged. It's the same thing here. We're not allowed to smoke in public spaces. In your private, in the confines of your home, then that's different, but when it comes to public spaces, and let us face it, the professor, it is only fair that if I don't smoke, you should not make me smoke if I go to the market.
Yeah.
You should respect me enough that I don't want to. You can always do that in the privacy of your homes, but when you get into the public spaces, you should respect the fact that I don't want to smoke, as I need to respect yours when you are in the designated points where you can. Okay. If I don't want to get in contact, don't go there. Yeah. But when it comes to the public space, we have to understand you ought to be free to go shopping in a clean environment, free of smoke.
Right.
And somebody shouldn't make me be inhaling all of that, or you or anybody else, or kids inhaling any of that. So that is what that is about, but it's not permissible in public spaces.
Okay, that's very good. By the way, everybody, we're talking to Miss Jacine Marshall-Baker. She's a drug abuse officer out there in Jamaica. She works for the National Council of Drug Abuse for the parish of Manchester. She represents the parish of Manchester there. So we have her here on Jammin's Radio talking to the professor here about ganja. Now, you know what, Miss Jacine? I just love ganja, and I like to smoke it. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to grow my own. Can I just put some seed together and just grow my own ganja? And all right, can I do that? Can I just grow my own marijuana, my own ganja?
Dear Professor, I really like you. You can grow up to 5 trees in your yard, not another one over 5 trees. Yes?
Oh,
the amendment permits that you can have, each household can have 5 trees. 5 ganja trees planted in their yard. Now, in a tenement yard where you have several families, it's still 5 trees.
So hold on, I want my 5 and my brother can have his 5. Why do I have to share my 5 with him? But anyway.
It's the law. What you'd have to do? You can grow your 5 trees. You just need to move to another neighborhood and go live by yourself and plant your 5 trees. But once your brother and you share the same household, it's only 5 trees. I'm so sorry.
I need 3 and I need my tree. I'm going to take 3 and he's going to take 2, all right? Because I want my ganja tree. Since it's just 5, I need 3 and you can have the other 2. But anyway.
Oh, you are so fair. You are so fair. That's all. But the law provides permits us to have 5 trees planted in our yard.
You know what, though, Miss Justine? I know we're laughing about this, but I mean, this is so real. You see what I'm saying? And the law, again, people don't know the law, and people need to know it and understand, the community and the system that you're in. And I'm sure a lot of people don't understand nor know it, that you can have up to 5, you see what I'm saying, ganja trees in your yard. You see what I'm saying? So this is good information. Really appreciate that. Now, what happened to people who use marijuana for medicinal purposes? We know that it's a big crazy in the United States where, Utah, Colorado, certain states are just legalizing marijuana, California and all that stuff. What happened, what happened if I need to use ganja for medicinal purposes? Do I have to get a doctor note, walk around with that? Or, how does that work out there in Jamaica?
Yes, the law permits persons to import medicine derived from ganja, but there is a special law, a special document people can apply for the license to use it or to cultivate it. They can apply for that, but the doctor would have to give that documentation to say that this medication is for XY use over whatever period it is, and then you are allowed to take that with you. But you can't just take it like, you would have bought a bottle of aspirin and you just travel with that. No, it's not permissible that way. It's not allowed that way. You have to produce that documentation that says, really this is authentic and it has got to be proven that way, yes.
Yeah, that's very good. Yeah, this is good stuff, man, I tell you. I mean, just to, understand how the system works out there. Now, we know that Americans, man, we're so misguided sometimes. I mean, here I am categorizing that. But you'll have tourists coming out there. Can visitors actually purchase ganja legally? No, I am born in the United States and I decide that, hey man, I'm going to Jamaica and I need some ganja, Can I go out there and purchase ganja legally out there? Can I do that? She laughs.
Oh my goodness, no. You need a permit even for medicinal usage of up to 2 ounces of ganja at a time. They will have a permit and they can do that. They can get that. They can apply for the permit that will allow them to have up to 2 ounces of ganja at a time. So just to purchase it legally, so no. No. It's still an illegal substance in this country.
All right,
and there are no special arrangements made for tourists in the law, but they can apply for a permit. That will allow them to have 2 ounces.
All right.
Yes, 2 ounces or less of ganja in their possession.
Yeah, I think it's a big misconception here in the United States that, you go to Jamaica and you can just purchase marijuana and it's not illegal. You see what I'm saying? That's a big misconception because, you can always get what you want. You see what I'm saying? You have a lot of money, it's just that now you don't want the cops to catch you with
yes.
it. So I guess the thing about it that you don't want to get caught, but you don't want to do it in the first place. I'm not encouraging people to do it, but you don't want to do it, but...
No, that's it.
Yeah, you don't want to get caught with that.
That's it. We know it happens from time to time, but we know that what we aim to do with this program is to let people know what's available.
Right.
That's and to clear some myths up. We know that even here, people have concluded that decriminalization in their terminologies means that you free up the weed.
Yep. Yeah.
So with that kind of concept, what we find is that we have a number of our young people just using the weed like that because now it becomes available and accessible.
Right.
Because many persons are now thinking that the weed just free up, but it's not true. We have made particular amendments, yes. And by those amendments too, we have really given it more access.
Right.
It is more accessible to more people.
Yeah.
But it's still an illegal substance in this country.
Wow, I tell you. By the way, everybody, we're talking to Miss Jacine Marshall-Baker, Mrs. Jacine Marshall-Baker. She's a substance abuse officer out there in Jamaica. She works for the National Council on Drug Abuse. And, of course, she represents the parish of Manchester, as well as other parishes out there in Jamaica. Now, Ms. Jacine, what's your observation since the inception of this decriminalization of ganja? What's your observation? Do you see people more relaxed now? As I said, the youths now, they're trying to take advantage of it, thinking that decriminalization means legalization, which in this case, it's not the case, right? That's what you're saying?
Definitely. Yes, definitely so. Yes, but from observations and reference to my treatment center, what we have seen is real serious increased use since that amendment in 2015. Not only do we see the young boys using, but now we have an increase in the females using.
Wow.
Yes, and right now we have them smoking, but we also have them having it as edibles in the drink and in their food. Yes, really serious. It is so serious. I wish I could share that it is not a concern now, but it's such. It is so serious. It is so very serious that I don't want us to even treat it lightly, even though we have our moments when we're smiling and chuckling through this interview. It is a real serious problem, very serious problem here.
Yes, I can see that. Now, you said as far as the impact on the youth, between, say, age 14 and 19, I noticed that you go around doing workshops for the different schools out there, educating the youth. Tell us a little bit about that. What you do in your department or the National Council on Drug Abuse, what do you guys do in terms of educating, informing, going around to the different schools, doing presentation? I noticed you guys were at the Denby ground the other day,
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about the awareness program that you guys are pursuing out there in Jamaica.
Okay, we do from the National Council on Drug Abuse, and certainly that's what I do. We do prevention and treatment, prevention, education. We go to all the schools, and really our programs now target the preschoolers.
Wow.
Because we have them as young as age 8 who are using, and by age 12 they are misusing. So we try to work very hard at the prevention. So we are in all the schools. We have programs for all levels of our school age children. We have the READ program, resistance education against drugs, for the preschoolers. We have it for the primary school persons. We have the one that deals with self-esteem and all of that, Strive, for the high schoolers, and we have another one, the READ Plus, that has a HIV component, because we are linking drug use and risky sexual behaviors, because when you have become intoxicated, you have no control over what you're doing, pretty much. So we link that one to the HIV, so that is for upper school. And we have parental ones that we reach out to the parents, trying to save the children and save some families through one of our programs. We call that one Operation Lighthouse. We also have one we refer to as a step-up program. That one is if the schools have discovered that they have found a student or some students with paraphernalia leading, anything that looks like they may make an attempt, and some of them made the attempt, some you caught them with all kinds of stuff. So we have a program for them too, that we do the treatment through to get them to sort of rehab, but not out of school. It's an out-school program. So we work with the guidance counselors to get them off the substances and be fitted back into the straight education system.
Wow, that's well done, well said there. By the way, everybody, we're talking to Mrs. Jacine Marshall-Baker. She's a drug counselor, drug abuse officer out there in Jamaica, and of course she's just highlighting some of the things that are happening out there in Jamaica in terms of their efforts of that organization. Now, as far as you mentioned the educational system, you mentioned the penal system. do you see any success? Where do you see Jamaica going from here? You know, with this, with the decriminalization, do you see a full legalization of ganja coming up, or is this just a? I mean, where do you see us in the next 10 years or so in terms of ganja, in terms of legalization? Do you see that happening? And I know this is your personal view.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. I see us getting closer. I see us getting closer and closer to it because of all the medicinal properties that's found in ganja, and now the more the permits are granted, the more production we are going to see. And of course, we know that in Jamaica we have a very good strain of cannabis. The THC, tetrahydrocannabinol, is very strong in our kind of ganja, and you know that people always look to Jamaica for that kind of stuff. So going forward, more and more persons are calling for it to be legalized. It's my personal view that it's going to happen. It's my personal view that 10 years, 15 years down the line, it's going to happen. It's really going to happen. And so right now, what you're doing through this program is so important that we understand how aware we have to be as a people of all that's happening around us. And so how now we need to train our children to make right decisions, because I believe with all my heart that is going to happen.
Wow. I have to digest that one for a second there. I have to.
Yes.
But you're absolutely right. I mean, this is the trend, and it's happening here in the United States, you know, where, and I think, it's heading down that way. So I can see,
I think so too.
I can see that happening there. As far as you being a drug counselor, personally, do you enjoy doing what you do here in terms of doing these different symposium, these different presentation, these different prevention measures and all that stuff? Do you like this job that you're doing? How satisfying is it for you to be able to go around and try and influence or impact? Tell us a little bit about that for you.
The professor, I love my job. It's very challenging. The rewards, that's when you meet somebody who has made some decisions and going down the wrong end. And when you're able to impact that life and help that person to turn around and see that person making strides, there no monetary value can be added to that. I live my whole life for that.
Wow.
I thoroughly enjoy it. I spend almost every waking moment trying to help somebody not to go over the cliff. So coping mechanisms. I spend most of my life trying to get people to learn how to cope. Life in itself loaded with challenges. You can't get away from them. You've got to cope. You must learn to cope. You have to teach people resistance skills. That's what kept persons like myself. When you're going, we have to resist some things. And when we stumble, we get up again. You need that hand to hold yours, to pull you up and say, oh, you slip now, but lean on my shoulder. So that's my shoulder to the person who is going off, the person who wants to come back. That's my shoulder.
Yeah.
My pain in all of this, in terms of my job, my pain though, is that you meet some people and I meet them so late that I can't help them to come back.
Wow.
They're too far gone. They have now been diagnosed with mental illnesses. And so it's I can't help them to come back fully to who they could be. So what I need to do now is to help them to live where they are.
Wow.
And sometimes that's painful. That's really painful. But I love what I do. Every time I see a child, I own that child. That child is mine. and I've got to help to see how can sort of chart it. I know I'm not God, but I try to represent him as best as I can in helping somebody. And there are persons who you try to help too, who just don't want to be helped. They figure they can do this. You know they can't, but you have got to respect that too.
Yeah.
But I love what I do. I really, really do.
Well, Miss Jacine Marshall Baker, I tell you. Any final words, though?
Just to say thank you and your listeners, and just to appeal to parents everywhere to be more aware of the environment in which we live, and just to remind them we live in a global society, and we need to help our children to understand that and to live their dreams.
Wow. Mrs. Marshall Baker, thank you so much for coming on and sharing with us. We really appreciate you, all right?
Bless you. Thank you for having me.
And I'll talk to you shortly, all right?
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye. By the way, everybody, that's Mrs. Jacine Marshall Baker. She's a drug counselor out there in Jamaica, a substance abuse officer. She works for the National Council on Drug Abuse for the parish of Manchester. I tell her she's doing some good stuff out there, and again, very informative, very educational interview here, just talking about the different aspects of what's going on out there in Jamaica and the misconceptions that we have, because I'm telling you, I didn't even know half the stuff all the stuff that has changed since then. But again, I just want to big up Miss Jacine Marshall Baker for coming on here on Jammies Radio in our Sunday conversation, share with us. We really appreciate that, all right? And we have to bring her on, man. Half an hour is not enough time to discuss all the different issues that we can and the different stuff that we can talk about in terms of drug abuse out there in Jamaica, all right? You're hanging out with the professor. Wow, time goes by so fast.